Sarah once told me, years ago, that she loved me because I was steady, because I was calm in storms. She used to say I never lost control. She was right. Even in the face of her betrayal, I stayed steady. And that steadiness, that refusal to give her the chaos she wanted, became they never thought my anniversary would turn into the night that changed everything. I had been married to Sarah for nearly 12 years, and while we'd had our share of ups and downs, I believed we were solid. I had planned the evening carefully, our favorite restaurant, reservations weeks in advance, a private table by the window overlooking the city skyline. I even wore the watch she had given me years ago, the one she said made me look distinguished. I wanted this night to remind us of what we had built together, of the love we once promised each other. But as the clock ticked closer to 7 and I sat waiting at the restaurant, a sinking feeling began to creep into my chest. Sarah was late. She was never late. I tried to brush it off, sipped my water, scrolled my phone to distract myself. Then the hostess appeared, with a look of forced politeness. "Your guests have arrived," she said. I frowned. Guests? I hadn't invited anyone, and then I saw her, Sarah, walking into the restaurant with a man I had never seen before, her hand tucked confidently into his arm. She wasn't embarrassed, she wasn't apologetic, she was smirking. The same smirk she used to flash me when she wanted me to know. She had the upper hand. My heart dropped into my stomach. She approached the table like nothing was wrong and introduced him. "This is Daniel," she said with that smug smile. "The man who owns my heart." The restaurant seemed to blur. Conversations around us faded into static. I just stared at her, at them, trying to process the betrayal. She had chosen this night, our anniversary, to flaunt her lover. She wanted to humiliate me. She wanted to break me in front of strangers. But what she didn't know, what neither of them knew, was that karma has a way of showing up uninvited. I didn't shout. I didn't cause a scene. I simply nodded, forcing a calmness I didn't feel. "Nice to meet you," I said, extending my hand to the man who had just casually stepped into my life like he owned it. He shook it, smug as Sarah, thinking I was weak. They sat across from me, ordered wine, laughed softly like a couple proud of their sin. The waiter came with candles, and for a while, I just let them dig their hole deeper. They spoke openly, as if I were invisible, about trips they had taken, inside jokes, little touches on each other's arms. It burned, but I swallowed the fire, because I knew something they didn't. Tonight wasn't going to end the way they imagined. Just as Sarah raised her glass to toast, the restaurant went dark. A sudden blackout swept the entire block. Gasps echoed, silverware clattered, and the city skyline beyond the windows dimmed into shadows. In that moment, Sarah's smirk disappeared. Her lover's hand tightened on her arm. I sat back, letting the darkness cover me like a shield. The staff scrambled to light backup candles, but for those few long minutes, everyone was cloaked in the truth of who they really were. I heard whispers, Sarah's sharp intake of breath, the nervous chuckle of her lover, the shifting of chairs. And in the darkness, the mask slipped. "Relax," Daniel muttered, but his voice trembled. "No one knows yet." "Are you sure?" Sarah hissed. "You said I said I'd handle it." "Don't push me here." I froze. The words cut through me. In the darkness, they had forgotten I was there. Forgotten I could hear every lie, every hidden truth. And then the knife twisted deeper when Daniel spoke again. "Besides, once the money clears, you won't have to worry about him. He'll be nothing." The money. It wasn't just an affair, it was a setup. My wife and her lover weren't only betraying me emotionally, they were planning to take everything from me. I gripped the edge of the table, my knuckles tight. In that moment, the lights flickered back on and Sarah's face paled. She realized I had heard every word. Silence fell between us. She opened her mouth to spin a lie, but I simply smiled. For the first time that night, the power shifted. She smirked when she walked in, but now I smiled, because I knew karma had already arrived. I didn't shout. I didn't give her the satisfaction of my rage. Instead, I calmly excused myself. "I'll leave you both to enjoy dinner," I said. And I walked out. Sarah called after me, panicked now, but I didn't turn back. I had already made my decision. That night, I contacted my lawyer. I had been suspicious of Sarah for months, enough that I quietly installed financial monitoring on our joint accounts. I had collected receipts, traced unusual withdrawals, and even spoken with a private investigator. And now, with the confession I overheard in the dark, I had everything I needed. The divorce papers were filed within the week. Sarah tried to play the victim, tried to paint me as cold, but the evidence stacked against her was undeniable. Her affair, her attempt to siphon money, her betrayal, it all came to light. Daniel, the man she had proudly paraded, turned out to be drowning in debt. He had seen Sarah as a ticket out, a way to secure financial stability by bleeding me dry through her. But once the court saw the evidence, their plan collapsed. Sarah lost everything in the settlement. The house went to me, as did the car. She was left scrambling, abandoned by Daniel once he realized she couldn't deliver the financial salvation he craved. The woman who had walked into that restaurant smirking on our anniversary was suddenly the one sleeping on a friend's couch, begging me for forgiveness I no longer had to give. I moved on with my life quietly, not with bitterness but with clarity. Karma had done the work for me. I didn't need revenge because they destroyed themselves. Sarah's pride, Daniel's greed, it all came crashing down the moment those lights went out and their whispers betrayed them. I often think back to that night, to the way she strutted into the restaurant with her lover, full of arrogance, ready to humiliate me, to the way the universe itself seemed to dim the lights, to strip away their fard and reveal the rot beneath. She thought she earned the stage, but in reality, she set herself up for the downfall, and me. I survived. I rebuilt. I learned that sometimes the best revenge isn't plotting, isn't screaming, isn't fighting, it's stepping aside and letting the truth do its work. Because the truth always surfaces, and when it does, it burns hotter than any revenge I could have planned. Very thing that saved me and destroyed her. So when people ask how I managed to get through it, how I didn't lose my mind watching my wife walk into our anniversary with another man, I tell them this: sometimes you don't have to fight to win. Sometimes all you need to do is wait. Because karma doesn't need an invitation, it always arrives right on time.